All right. Today we're going to do some tapping on the fears and the feelings of discomfort regarding the mass deportation situation here in the United States. This is just going to be off the cuff. I will probably make a better version of this sometime in the future, but for now it just kind of feels like I have to do this now and then, perhaps take my time with something a little bit better later. I'm going to assume that you understand what tapping is. If you don't, my channel does have an explanation, and I think we're just going to do tapping from the points on the face. Obviously you can incorporate the lower points if you so choose, but if you're following along with me, I think I'm just going to be going from top of the head to the bottom. I may just habitually go to the chest, but that's that. So let's start by just taking a breath. Breathe in. Hold it. And slowly release it. We'll do that again. Release. We'll do that again, and when we do, I just want you to feel, while your lungs are full, where you're holding tension. If you feel it in your jaw, if your back is tight, if your fists are clenched, or if you just find yourself just generally feeling a tension and a stiffness, and to really feel your body soften as we exhale. Okay. Inhale. Hold it. Release. I am afraid of the brutality of the mass deportation policies. I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid for my family. I'm afraid for my friends. And I'm afraid for all those asylum seekers who I've never met, who came here because they wanted to find a safety that they couldn't find in the country they were born into. And now they find themselves in a history resembling 1930s Germany. I don't want people to have to be in hiding. I would rather read about the Underground Railroads or the heroes who housed, sheltered, and fed refugee Jews as something that exists only in the history books. I'm disgusted that my country has come to this. I'm disgusted that such blatant racism can be supported. I am disgusted that my tax dollars the tax dollars of my family and the tax dollars of my friends have gone toward funding this brutal regime and all of its violence. I don't want my children to be afraid of ICE when they go to school. I don't want my children to be afraid of their family being torn apart. I don't want my children to be afraid that they will be torn away from their friends or that their friends will be torn away from them. I wanted this country to represent the interest of human rights for all humans. And I am very disappointed that the idea of human rights seems to only apply to privileged people. It pains me to think of human beings who have sought asylum, who have never hurt anyone, are considered criminals worthy of being put in detention centers and concentration camps. I'm furious that it's come to this. I'm furious that the people aren't protected. I'm furious at those men and women who have volunteered to be members of ICE. I'm furious that there are people on this world who would make a career out of tearing families apart. I wanted this country to be safe. And I don't get to live in a safe United States. I wanted this country to be one that respects human life. And I do not get to live there. I don't know what to think about how many Anne Franks are alive in this country right now who need the support of privileged people and may not get it. It feels surreal. That millions of people may have to go into hiding in order to protect their lives, their liberties, their self-ownership. I'm sad. I'm sad that the brutality and the racist ideologies have gotten this far. It feels archaic to be living in times that so parallel moments in history that were clearly disgusting human rights violations en masse. I wish that I could know that myself, my family, and my friends could be safe. I don't get to know this. I feel so stressed by all of the uncertainty of this. It's hard to sleep because of the uncertainty of all of this. I feel powerless because of the uncertainty of this and my lack of agency to change it. But I, like everyone in harsh times throughout history, will follow my heart to do what's right. I will protect people when I can. I will feed people when I can. I will defend the facilitation of asylum when I can. And I will allow my heart to tell me what laws to break in order to protect people and the idea of human rights. I welcome my compassion to compel me to action. I understand that the grief, that the stress, that the anger that I feel comes from a place of love. All of my anger toward this injustice is evidence of my love for people and their right to exist with freedom and self-ownership. I respect my heart's position that this kind of brutality is unacceptable. I am glad that there is a swelling scream in my soul that is so in tune with all of the pain that is caused by this injustice. Because that pain in my heart is my compass to guide me toward doing what is right. I will trust at night that my nervous system is allowed to rest and sleep. I will do my best to remind myself that rest is essential. That I can get back to the fight tomorrow. I want to be well rested, to be there for my family. I want to be well rested because I want my brain to work at maximum capacity. I want to be well rested because my nervous system deserves to be in its parasympathetic healing state. I will remind myself to have gratitude for the hundreds of thousands of people who find this mass deportation to be utterly detestable and something that needs to be fought against. I am happy that there are hundreds of thousands of people who are fighting against these racist, violent policies. I am thankful that there are hundreds of thousands of people in this country who I've never met who are fighting for me and my family and my friends to have the human rights that are supposedly inalienable. I will remind myself that there is an extreme amount of solidarity, not only with the people who exist here today now, but we can look at history and understand with 20/20 hindsight that policies like this are seen as grotesque and violent and are unworthy of respect in the context. So I remind myself that freedom fighters in times like this are remembered as heroes and seen fondly through the eyes of history. Those brave souls who followed their heart and their integrity are seen as heroes. I will remind myself that resisting abuse is something that is incredibly respectable. I will remind myself to breathe. Let's breathe. How do your nerves feel right now? What's the temperature of the air on your skin? How is the light interacting with your environment? Do you feel a little calmer now? Do you feel an urgency to mobilize or to prepare, to plan, to create a strategy? It's okay to feel hurt. You have good reason to feel hurt. You have good reason to be afraid. Let's just acknowledge that our fear is something we experience in an attempt to keep us safe. That it's not necessarily a negative emotion. That it exists for a very good purpose. But we do not want to live there every second of every day. Be present with your next few breaths. And just let your body soften with each exhale. Remind yourself that right now, in this moment, you're safe. And it's okay to fully relax right now. Thank you.